everyone, it's alenajingle again, and I'm back with video number 9 in the series I've been doing on less popular alternatives to the top 100 boy names in the US for the year 2014. I was hoping to get out another video before the end of last week, but I have been insanely busy. It feels like it's been forever since I put a video out, but I think that's because I have had the information ready for this video for several days now, and I'm really excited to get this out. Unfortunately, the next few weeks or even months possibly are going to be insanely packed with many things for us, so there's a really good chance that I won't be able to start putting out 2 videos a week again until December, but we'll just have to see how things go. So for this video, I'm going to be doing numbers 60 through 56. At number 60 in the year 2014 was the name Gavin. Gavin is a medieval form of the name Gawin, G-A-W-A-I-N, which means hawk. Kind of fun meaning. Gavin DeGraw is a popular singer, and Gavin Rossdale is from the band No Doubt and was until recently married to Gwen Stefani. I have known many Gavins. Tons. A couple through school, mostly through daycares in the elementary school where I used to work, and unfortunately it's one of those names where it seems like every single Gavin I've met has just been insanely naughty and wild. So unfortunately that's kind of tainted this name for me personally. Gavin has been in the top 100 boy names since the year 2000. It did go all the way up to number 30 in the top 1000 boy names. It is currently going down in popularity. My first alternative I have for the name Gavin is NEVIN. NEVIN is an Irish name that means little saint. I think that's kind of amazing meaning for a name for a child. There is a popular actress named Brooke Nevin. There is also an actor slash director named Nevin Millen. And he has a daughter named Amalia, which I think is really awesome. The name Nevin has randomly been in the top 1,000 boy names 7 different times in the past. In the first half of the 20th century, I think Nevin would make a great Gavin alternative because they have that similar ending sound under both 2 syllables. I think Nevin is so much fun. I came across a Nevin recently in this little town I was living in up until the end of the summer, and it was really exciting for me to see that name on a person. He was probably around my age as well. Next Gavin alternative I have is Galvin. Galvin is a Gaelic name that means brilliantly white. This name can also, of course, be spelled G-A-L-V-A-N, but with the spelling I have on the screen, that is the name of a town in Washington. And there was also a poet named Patrick Galvin. That's kind of a fun association. I think someone who likes Gavin might like Galvin because they're only 1 letter apart in spelling and pronunciation. And my last Gavin alternative I have is Gannon. Gannon is a Gaelic name meaning fair-skinned. Gannon is the name of a university in Pennsylvania, and it's also the name of a Zelda character. My close friend Amelia, who is Everything Baby Names on YouTube, and I were discussing the name Gannon because it's actually all the way up at number 413 currently in popularity. And I was like, why is this name being used so much? And she really thinks it's from the Zelda character, even though it's not necessarily a very positive character. This name was in the top 1,000 boy names in the years 2002 through 2006 and re-entered in 2013. And since it's at 413 right now, it's clearly rising very quickly, and I can see why. It has a great modern sound, and I think someone who likes Gavin might like Gannon because it has a very similar sound. At number 59 in the year 2014 was the name Adrian. Adrian is the English form of Hadrian, which just means someone from Hadria or from the Adriatic Sea. I adore the name Adrian. I think it is so gorgeous. I could use it as a middle name, except for because of a personal association, I cannot anymore. And I used to have this name in my extended combos for boys as Adrian Drew. That was before I realized how popular it was. There are several famous people named Adrian, like actors Adrian Grenier and Adrian Brody, and of course footballer Adrian Peterson. So Adrian has been in the top 100 boy names since the year 1990, and it's always been in the top 500 boy names in the US. I had no idea Adrian was such an insanely popular name, and I think it's wonderful that it is. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. My first Adrian alternative I have is Hadrian, which I mentioned earlier. This is the original form of Adrian, which again means someone from Hadria. So Hadrian was, of course, a Roman emperor in ancient Rome, and he was known as one of the 5 good emperors of Rome, so that's really great. There's also an opera called Hadrian based off of that emperor. I was really surprised to see Hadrian has never been in the top 1,000 boy names in the US. I think it's a really cool and very accessible name. And of course, someone who likes Adrian might like Hadrian because they're only 1 letter apart in spelling and pronunciation, and they have the same meaning and origin. My next alternative I have for Adrian is Andrian. Andrian is a Russian variant of Andrew, meaning man, so that means this name could also honor an Andrew, of course. Andrian is the name of an area in Italy, and there are several several Eastern European soccer players with this name, so this name is truly popular in some Eastern European countries. When I first saw the name Andrian, I thought for sure it just has to be a modern invented name, but I was really excited that it is a very legitimate name with roots, and I just think it's really gorgeous and extremely accessible. I think Andrian would make a great Adrian alternative because they're only one letter apart in their spelling, and of course they have a super similar sound. And my last Adrian alternative I have is ARDIAN. ARDIAN is an Albanian name that means descendant or offspring. This name can also be spelled ARDJAN. I also think it would be really cool to see the feminine form of this name, Ardiana, or even the feminine form of the other two names I mentioned, like Andriana or Hadriana. Those would be really cool to see. Ardian is another name just like Andrian that is frequently used in Eastern Europe. Like the last couple of names, I think Ardian would make a great Adrian alternative because they have a super similar look and sound. At number 58 in the year 2014 was EBEN, which is a Welsh form of John, which means God's grace. I think the name EBEN is super handsome. I totally get why this is so popular. However, right now it's starting to feel dated, and I think it is best for the middle name spot personally. There is an actor, Evan Peters, who plays one of the main characters from the American Horror Story series. I have personally known many Evans, and I have actually met a few girl Evans as well. Evan has been in the top 100 boy names since 1983, which is why I think it is getting dated because it has been extremely popular for over 20 years now, and it's always been in the top 1,000 boy names in the US. My first Evan alternative I have is EBEN. EBEN is a Hebrew name that means stone. I love this name so much. This can also just be a short form of Ebenezer. And I think EBEN would be kind of a good Benjamin alternative as well, because you could of course get the nickname Ben from Eben. There is an actor named ENEHEMIAH, and I think EBEN makes a great EBEN alternative because it has a super similar sound. My next EBEN alternative I have is BEVAN. BEVAN is a Welsh name that means son of Evan. There are several New Zealand athletes with the name Bevan as a first name, and Bevan is more commonly used as a surname, of course. And in fact, there is a namer in the baby naming community with this last name. I won't mention her first name just in case she doesn't want me to on YouTube. I think someone who likes Evan might like Bevan because they're only one letter apart in spelling and pronunciation, and Bevan could very easily honor an Evan as well. My last Evan alternative I have is EVANDER. This is a Greek name meaning good man. I love that meaning so much. A lot of people associate this name with boxer Evander Holyfield, and this name is really what I call a name lover's name. What I mean by that is that people who are obsessed with names tend to like the name Evander. I know I definitely love it and can honestly use it as a middle name very easily. There is a Canadian hockey player named Evander Kane, and there is an English rapper who has a son named Evander Maxwell. Is that not gorgeous or what? And of course, someone who likes Evan might like Evander because Evan can be a nickname for Evander. Number 57 in the year 2014 was the name Nicholas, which is the English form of Nikolaos, which means victory of the people. So Nicholas is a family name for me. It was one of my great-grandpa's middle names, and I have a first cousin whose first name is Nicholas, who goes by Nico, and he is named after that great-grandparent. This name is, of course, really strongly associated with Santa Claus, or Saint Nicholas, and Nicholas was the name of one of the deacons in the New Testament in the Bible. There's also several celebrities with this name, such as actor Nicholas Hoult and author Nicholas Sparks. This name was in the top 10 boy names from 1991 through 2002. It's been in the top 100 boy names since 1972, and it's always been within the top 200 boy names in the US, so it is wildly popular. The first Nicholas alternative I have is Nikolai, and that is the Russian form of Nicholas, which again means victory of the people. This name can also be spelled ending in a Y instead of an I, or ending in a J instead of an I, but with the same pronunciation. And with the Nikolaj spelling, there is a very famous actor right now named NIKOLAI coster-waldau, and he is from the Game of Thrones series. He's one of the main characters on that show. There is also a Call of Duty character from the video game whose name is Nikolai Belinsky. This name was ranked at 536 in the year 2014, and it's been in the top 1,000 boy names since 2007, and surprisingly it was never in the top 1,000 boy names before that. I've actually met a couple of Nikolais that were born before 2007, so that was really shocking to me. Have you guys met any Nikolais that are born before the year 2007? Let me know in the comments below. My next Nicholas alternative I have is Nicodemus. Nicodemus is a Greek name that also means victory of the people. In the Bible, Nicodemus was a Pharisee that converted to Christianity, so it's a really good association. And it's also the name of a character in the classic book Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of Nim. I really like that. I think someone who likes the name Nicholas might like Nicodemus because it has a similar sound, the same meaning and origin, and I think Nicodemus and Nikolai, for that matter, could easily honor a Nicholas as well. And my last Nicholas alternative I have is Klaus, which is the German diminutive of Nicholas. That, of course, again, means victory of the people. I really strongly associate this name with the series of Unfortunate Events books written by Lemony Snicket. I recently reread those, and they're just amazing books, and they have tons of cool names in them. Also in the show Vampire Diaries, one of the main characters is named Klaus. I was really excited to see that. And believe it or not, when I was first married, Klaus was in my top boy names. It's not anymore because my husband doesn't like it. And I found out that one of my neighbors was distantly related to me where we were living when we were first married. Not only that, but they also had a 2-year-old son named Klaus. And that was one of the best naming moments of my life. And of course I think Klaus makes a good Nicholas alternative because it can honor Nicholas and it has the same meaning and origin as Nicholas. My last name for this video, at number 56 in the year 2014, was the name Jeremiah, which is a Hebrew name that means God has uplifted. Jeremiah is the name of a biblical prophet, of course. I also associate this name with the song Joy to the World, the Jeremiah was a bullfrog line. That's kind of fun for me. I recently watched the mini-series based off of the book of Little Dorrit, and one of the main characters in that movie is named Jeremiah Flintwinch, and he has an identical twin named Ephraim Flintwinch in that too, so I think that's kind of cool. My husband actually has a first cousin named Jeremiah as well. He is in his upper 30s, I believe, and so because of that we could never use it, but he is a very good association for me, and I like his first and middle name combo, which is Jeremiah Adam. Very handsome. Jeremiah has been in the top 100 boy names since 2001, and it was also in the top 100 boy names from the years 1976 through 1982, and has always been in the top 1,000 boy names in the US. So it is definitely frequently used in the US a lot, not uncommon at all. My first Jeremiah alternative I have is Jeremias, which is the Greek form of Jeremiah, and if you pronounce that Jeremias, it is the Spanish form of Jeremiah. There's actually a Latino pop singer from Venezuela whose name is Jeremias with this spelling. I thought that was kind of fun. Of course, I think Jeremias makes a great Jeremiah alternative because they're super similar in their sounds and spelling, and they have the same meaning and origin. My next Jeremiah alternative I have is Jerome. Jerome is one of my new name crushes right now. Jerome is the English form of the name Hieronymus, I believe it's pronounced, and it means sacred name. How amazing of a name meaning is that? So Jerome was the name of the author of the Vulgate, which was the Latin translation of the Bible, which is really cool to me. And Jerome Flynn is the name of one of the actors from the show Game of Thrones, just like the other actor I mentioned earlier in this video. Jerome was ranked at 807 in 2014. It was actually in the top 100 boy names a few years in the 1930s and 1940s, and it's always been in the top 1,000 boy names in the US. I think someone that likes the name Jeremiah might like Jerome because they both have that J-E-R beginning sound. This name would also be a good name to honor a Jerry. My last Jeremiah alternative I have is Nehemiah, which is a Hebrew name meaning comfort of the Lord. Really great meaning. Nehemiah is one of the books in the Bible, and there are 3 different men mentioned in the Bible with this name. There is a classic old-time actor named Nehemiah Persoff who did the voice of the dad in the children's movie An American Tale about the little mouse named Fievel. I think that's kind of a fun association. Nehemiah was ranked at 359 in 2014, so it's definitely being used, which is really excited for me, and it entered at the top 1,000 boy names for the first time in the year 1998. I think someone that likes Jeremiah might like Nehemiah because they have the same ending sound and are both Old Testament biblical names. That is my last name for this video. Please let me know in the comments below what your favorites of the alternatives I listed were and any other alternatives you like for these names. And thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.